Okay, so here's the, I've been doing this for well over 25 years, and names kind of come and go, but this big one, and it's really, hooking these up is basically idiot proof. There's only one place to hook these things up. They don't go anywhere else. So, and they're one-sided. So you just can't plug them in wrong. If you find something that's similar, well, that's where it probably goes. In most cases, I don't think I've ever ran into where it's not. So this is your main power, and these 6-pin ones are for usually advanced video, so they go on the video card. Sometimes there's 2 of them. Then you have this one for added power to the graphic processor and the chipset. Right there. Sometimes there's 2 on a motherboard, but usually if you only find one place to plug it, well, then it only needs one. Then you have your standard Molex connector. This right here is for floppy drives that nobody uses anymore. If you have a floppy, the data is probably corrupt by now anyway, so it's best just to not even worry about it. But if you have to have one, well, you can put one in, but there's really no reason. And then these are for older style hard drives and CDs, but again, most connectors are using, or most devices are using the SATA. So, and there's only one way to plug them in. They only go on one way. So the best thing I do is get everything out of the way. Now you're free to work in there. This is where the motherboard will sit, right down here. So, all right. So let's put that aside for now. And here's the motherboard case, or the motherboard box. Okay. So it comes packaged like this. Let's see if we can get a focus. Alright, so usually what comes in here is the SATA cable connection between the motherboard and the hard drive, and the motherboard and the DVD burner. So I'll just put this aside, and then I take this out, open at the bottom, and get rid of that. And then you have the manual, and pretty much I won't. You have the manual here. I pretty much won't be using it. And you have your drivers, which you will be using. So I set everything nicely in here so that I can have access. Actually, I'll go ahead and open this up. I can struggle to get it open. Alright, I set those in there. And this is the panel connection that goes in the back, right back here, and basically goes in there, and that's what the motherboard connections poke out of. And these are made specifically for the motherboard. They go on. And this here is the motherboard. This is where the CPU goes. This is where your memory goes. This is where your add-ons go. This right here is your add-on video. And sometimes you can have different devices that fit in that small slot. So, right now what I will do is I'll take and put the memory in the slot. Now, again, like everything, these are made semi-idiot proof. So if you're afraid, don't be. See, there's a little key, little slot right there, and right here you can see right on the motherboard. Let me see if I can get a better view. Right there. So it only goes on a certain way. First you have to open those up and slide down. What I do is I gently slide it to where it's just resting where you're about ready to push it in, and I take equal pressure and I just press straight in until it clicks. And you'll notice how those tabs automatically lock into themselves, and then I just slide those out of the way. Now what you have here is you have where your CPU goes. You open right here. Here's where your CPU goes. Sorry for the camera angle. I'm trying to do this right, but this little tab kind of goes in a little notch, and you just slide it open. And there is, it's really hard to see, but there is little notches where in the bottom of the CPU you'll be able to see this. So I will open up this CPU. And I take the paperwork and I put it in the box. This is for one of my customers. And this is the CPU fan. And it already has the cooling grease right there for the CPU. And here's the CPU. Sorry about that. Okay, so here's the CPU, and it's got pins. And if I go ahead and I put this in the pack in here, and I open it up right here, and you just need to be very careful not to bend these pins. Now some of them don't have pins, and they have the pins are actually on the motherboard, but I find this is very convenient. But okay, so let me focus on this real quick. See those little areas right in here? Those 4 little spots, they go a certain direction on the motherboard. So you just have to line them up, and it does appear that it goes in like this. Let me go ahead and refocus. Technology. So, it goes in just like this. And I like to just make sure that it's down without forcing it. Never want to force it. Okay. So then you take this lever and just pull it down until it clicks. Alright, now static bag. Okay. Take this out of the way. Okay. Alright. So you have this. It's your CPU fan. It's your CPU fan. And it only goes on a certain way. And you have this wire, and it only goes to one place on here. And it goes right there. and that's where the CPU fan goes. And on the motherboard it says CPU fan. And what I like to do is I like to tuck this wire underneath there. This is a trick, a time-saving trick that will keep the fan. So you see how I've got those both tucked under? So you have this loop. That means later on this wire will not touch into the fan. That's an old time trick that I learned a long time ago. So it goes into a little notch, and then the same thing goes on this side. See right here, you got this, and there's a little cam lever right here. So you just get it down, and so it clicks. Takes a little bit of force till it clicks right onto that spot down there, and then you just pull it tight. Now it's tight, and this is actually how I pick it up, because it's mounted to the board. It's actually very safe. This is how I pick it up. This is actually very safe. It's mounted to the board, and there's no issues. So there you have it. That's easy. So now let me show you this, how this works. So we open it up. Ooh, it's hot in here. Woo-wee. All right, another time-saving trick. All right, you see how that is bent down? You see that? See, it's got an angle. That wire. See, it's got an angle to it. Right there, this little tab. I like to bend all these tabs out of the way, because sometimes they actually, see, this is where they're supposed to go, right there, supposed to go on there, but sometimes those tabs, you see that one's already going into the port. So I like to bend these up out of the way, and bend these up out of the way, and bend this one up.